Okay, now something a little bit different for these next few videos. Someone got in touch with me from watching the previous YouTube videos of the van conversions and asked me if I would like to take on a project to refit a Ford Transit Connect, a micro camper. And being up for the challenge, I took it on, and I've got the van outside. Let's go and take a look at it. The first thing we're going to do is just take a look around inside and see what's there right now. We have, this is a wooden rock and roll bed in there. We have this cabinet, some electrical components in there. Even here we have the gas bottle and water tanks and fuel for the heater. Take a look around the side door. We've got the fridge, we've got the hob and sink. Now, I'm going to take all of this out. Starting with the bed, take the rock and roll bed out and take all of this unit out, and we'll have a plan for this for the refit, which I'll show you now. The actual dimensions of the van, it's 190 long from the back of the seats to the back doors, and it's 140 wide across the floor. So we'll have a slide out bed to put in here, slatted slide out bed. I'll be making that. We're going to make the kitchen unit over on the opposite side of the van and just coming over the sliding door a little, just to give a little bit more room in there. We're going to put the fridge here, we're going to put the hob and sink here, water tanks, gas bottle. Again, we'll get some storage space under the bed, and we'll get the electrics, leisure battery and controllers either here or here in this section. We'll just see how that goes as I'm working on it, and I will know better once I get everything taken out. So, very first job I think is to take this rock and roll bed out. That'll give a little bit more space in here, and then we'll be able to see the wood for the trees, so to speak. Always a bit tricky when working on a project that someone else has put together, because you never know exactly how to put it together. But I think this looks like we're going to take the piano hinge off first, and then all of this is 3x2, and it looks like it's just screwed into itself. So piano hinge comes off first. Okay, that's almost it, nearly out. If I just take these out of here, then the rest of this should come out pretty easily. Oops. Get the drill in there. Okay. So, take this piece off. This will come out. There you go, rock and roll bed is out. Now I think the next thing to tackle is this. The diesel heater's in here. Okay, so next is to take the heater out. So we want to isolate this. Has a switch on here. I'll just pull the switch and then figure out how to get the fuel isolated. See, the actual fuel tank for the diesel is here, and that's running down this way, coming along here and going through there. So I think my best bet is probably to take the tank out first, and take these bits and pieces out, and then trace that line back. So that's going to start with, to be able to do that more easily, I'll take the gas bottle out first, and I might take the side off this cupboard, just so I can get in a little bit of access, you know. Okay, so we've got the heater pretty much ready to go. Just need to take the exhaust stuff out of it. And see, the leisure battery is behind the water tank, and there's no access to it from this side. So I think what's going to happen is I'm going to have to take the side of this cabinet off, get to the battery, then I can disconnect all of the electrics, and then we're good to go, because there'll still be current available in these wires for the diesel heater, and I would rather that all be dead before tackling it any further. So my next job then is take this side off the cupboard, and looking at this, I think the tambour door is going to want to come off before we take the side of the cabinet off itself. So we'll take that off as well. After a whole load more digging, the battery is revealed. So what we're going to do is take those terminals off, then all of the wiring in here will be dead. Take the battery out, take the fridge out, and then we'll take this worktop out. And then we're nearly there really. It's just the diesel heater that still needs attention, but I think that's going to be the last thing to go. The rest of it really wants to come out first. So, onto it. What sort of battery this is, but it looks like a beast. Righty, so we've got the battery out. All the terminals disconnected. I think what I'll do is I'll just disconnect this split charger from the starter battery, just to make sure that everything in here is completely deadened off. And then we've got a little bit of wiring behind there to figure out. I think that chocolate block, one of the chocolate blocks, is for the fridge. So I'll take that out, get the fridge out, and then we should be able to get all of this unit out, and we've then got a clear working space. Progress has been made. This is out. I've got a bunch of electrics here. I'll go through these and mark them from the panel. So I've just got this to take out. Unfortunately, the sides of the units have been siliconed to the carpet, and that's going to be unsightly. I don't think that'll come off there either. I'll think of something for that. Majorly there. I've got all this electrical material sorted out. Assuming these coming out of the floor were for the split charger, so we'll have to reroute them in order to get them for the Ring Automotive DC charger, which we're putting in here. Now, only the diesel heater remaining, and then we can get all of these screws and bits and pieces out and start measuring up for the components that we're going to be putting in here. Alright, so I haven't got most of the things out. We're now looking at how we're going to put them back in. And I'm seeing the fridge has to go here really. There's still enough space there to get in and out at the door. You will be able to get in the back doors as well. So if we have the fridge placed here, the hob and sink will go next to it about there, and I think that should give us enough room left on this part of the floor to get the water tanks, the gas tank and the battery. I'm going to measure up and see if that's so. There's enough room here just to get the battery in. That'll be that one. This one will have the water tanks and the gas bottle, and the last one will have the fridge, and it's going to be this height. So what I'm going to do is just make a frame for all of that first, and attach these to here, then put a cross member in that way, and then put another one in to tighten it all up. So that's the job, and once we've got this finished, we can then determine how wide the bed is going to be and how much of it needs to actually slide out. So this is what we're on with. I'll get this frame built up and then we'll take a look at it. Now again, one of the things is here, this floor is quite spongy. Lino, I think it is, vinyl on it, and I'm not sure if that is square. So to make these square, I'm going to measure at the bottom and measure at the top, and I'll do that all the way along, and then they will be square. Next thing to do here is to make panels for the sides of this. Now I'm going to do this with 6mm MDF. The frame itself is fairly sturdy, and really it's just a skin that we're putting on, just a separator. So I think I've got a sheet of 6mm MDF in the workshop here. Indeed I do. So I'm going to measure that up, get the circular saw out, and make them panels. Okay, so the panels are cut and primed, a little bit of scribing on some of them, not too much, and they'll be ready to go in tomorrow once they're dried. Alrighty, so continuing with this, the units on this side, we've now got the worktop in and the SMEV, and we'll get some of the electrics up here. I'm just unsure whether to make a separate panel there, which I may. and we'll see how that looks. But once this is done, this is all good, get the doors on there and then onto the bed. Coming along. But this panel here I want to make into the main electrical panel, so I'm going to take this in the workshop and just see how everything fits on here. We've got the charge controller to put on, we've got some 3-pin sockets, we've got the lights, and we've got the USB and 12-volt outlets. So this isn't fixed yet, I've just been sorting that out. So I'm going to take that off, take it into the workshop and just see how things fit on it. I think it's an idea to do this before putting the wiring in, and then we know exactly where we are wiring to. I think we'll put them underneath there, and that will all be good. And then we have enough room also to put a double 3-pin socket on there. Okay, so we've got all the holes cut in there. These will fit in here quite nicely. Switches below, this is for the wires. All looking good. Now, I'm not going to fix this in yet because obviously we need to do quite a bit of work on the back of it. So I'll fix the wires up first and then permanently fix it in. So let's have a look at the next job in here. I think it's going to be laying in some of the electrics at this point. Okay, so first up we've got the battery. I think this is a 110 amp hour leisure battery. And that just fits. That's good. So this is what else is going in there. Consumer unit, charger, fuse box, and a socket for the charger which will come from the consumer unit. Obviously this is then going to come out of the van and there will be a mains hookup point underneath. Now luckily I've not fixed the worktop in yet, so I can get this out and that's going to give us a little bit better access to the box to start putting these components in place. Now there's one other thing we want here before we start fitting this, and that is we want a hole in the floor for the shore power. Now what I'm thinking is the consumer unit will fit quite nicely there. The mains charger we can put up here on the opposite side. This little socket can go next to the mains charger, and that leaves enough room underneath there to put the fuse box. And taking the side panel off again just to give us a little bit better access to this whilst we do it. I've got the leads in coming from the starter battery for the DC to DC charger, and the very next thing we're going to do is just get all of these components sorted out in the battery box itself. So we're going to earth the battery to the chassis, put the breakers in, wire it up to the fuse box, and then get it all led up to the panel that we're going to put here, which will be the main control panel. Okay, that's all coming along nicely. Now next time what we're going to do is put the bed in, and there's a few other little bits and pieces, but as I say, this will be subject of the next video. So thanks very much for watching. If you've enjoyed the video, if you want to see how this all turns out, do consider subscribing to the channel. Give the video a thumbs up. Thanks very much.